Everybody, it's George McBroom. You guys may know me if you know me in the neighborhood. My channel's Astronomonkey, so we're going to be trying to take a look at a few galaxies tonight, if I can get cars to stop driving by, that is. Looks like that might be our target right there. Back up in here. Nope, wrong direction. So I am terrible with the directions on this thing. I'll push one button going one direction and end up going the wrong way. So, alright, let's see. We're going to bring this into live feed here in just a second. So the mode I'm in now, it's obviously, you can tell it's really grainy. That's not what you want to see, obviously. That looks like crap. But that's kind of like a quick view mode. It's a little more set, so it's a little more sensitive. Reacts a little bit faster to hopefully help you see targets a little bit faster. But it's not what we want to look at. Got another vehicle coming here, so as soon as they get past, I will switch modes here. If they decide to go past. But, oh, they're not. They're pulling into my house. Oh, looks like one of the neighbors coming to check things out. Alright, so it'll be a few seconds on each exposure here. Right now it's set for 20 seconds. You can probably see that on your screen right about there. So give it a couple minutes here and it should hopefully start clearing our image up. Alright, so what you were seeing there is actually M100. So that is going to be a galaxy in Coma Berenices. And what I'm doing is trying to, I actually upped our time to 45 seconds here on our images, so hopefully we'll get a little bit more resolution out of it. But we'll go and look at a little more of the detail here when we get these new exposures here. Alright, folks, I got some guests here. You want to say hi? Y'all say hi. Say hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hi. Hi. Alright, so what you're looking at here in the middle, right about here, okay, I've tried to tease out as much detail as I can, but I want to keep making you wait on exposures. And of course, we had a car that came in and messed up some of my exposure. So, I'm trying to tease it out a little bit more here for you. So this is M100 here in the middle. There we go, that's pretty good. You can just make out, so this is the nucleus, and you can just make out these spiral arms of dust and gas, okay? So, and over here is actually a companion galaxy. It's relatively close. There's actually a whole cluster of galaxies right in this little area, at least in the same field. They're not all in this view. So this is M100, like I said. This is what they call a grand design spiral galaxy. It's in the constellation Coma Berenices. This galaxy is located about 55 million light years away. So if you want to look online and figure out what was happening 55 million years ago, then you'll know just how far away this thing was. The light that you're looking at in this screen right now took 55 million years to get to us. It's going to be about 130,000 light years across from side to side, and they estimate there's roughly 400 billion stars within this galaxy. And if you don't know, some of you may know, our galaxy is expanding, so our universe is expanding, so most galaxies are going to be moving away from each other in opposite directions. And this one happens to be moving away from us at a measly 960 miles a second. So it's a beautiful galaxy, and we could sit here and probably up our accumulation times and really tease out a little more detail. But I'm not going to sit here and keep it on there for you. We'll try to move on to our next target here. Alright, everybody, so here we are again at our next destination. Sorry for the blank out there. Had my visitors here checking things out with me. I didn't want to subject all to conversation. So, if we can ever get a point where I get more than 30 seconds without a car driving by, we might actually get some kind of resolution out of these images. I'm going to go ahead and bump it up to 45 seconds on our exposure time here. Try to get us something. So, as you'll be able to see here, we've got several galaxies here actually, and I've got to figure out why my stars are really as bloated as they are. Almost appears like I've lost some focus or something. So, what we've got here is it should be M84. It is possible that I have somehow bumped over and ended up on M86. Quite honestly, it's a little difficult to tell because there's so many galaxies here in this one spot that I'm having a hard time figuring out exactly which one this one is. So M84 and M86 are both elliptical galaxies. They're both really close, and according to what I can see here star-wise, I'm not entirely sure what it is. I'm not entirely sure if we're on M84 or M86 at this point. So, but they're both relatively similar. So, yeah. So we'll see if we can resolve a little bit more here, and then we'll talk about them a little bit. All right. So what you're seeing, like I said, this is either M84 or M86. They're both relatively similar. We may kind of move around here a little bit in a second just to see if we can spot something different. See if we can spot the other, and then we'll know kind of where we're at. So as far as that goes, they're part of Markarian's chain, which is basically something like 8 galaxies that are arrayed in a fairly visible line or chain kind of through this whole area, if you can get a wide enough field of view. M84 and M86, they're both lenticular galaxies or elliptical galaxies, and basically in elliptical galaxies typically tend to be older galaxies. So what you see generally is this brighter nucleus here in the middle, and then you can tell that there's this kind of diffuse glow around the outside, and that would be a fairly large area if we were getting good. If I set the resolution a little bit higher, it's just going to be kind of a diffuse cloud around it, and basically what that is the fact that it has used up all of the gas and a lot of the dust that was in it to create planets or stars, and so it's basically left with nothing but those stars just kind of dispersed throughout it, and so you don't see those lanes or those dust lanes and arms that you might otherwise see in like a spiral galaxy. Spiral galaxies usually tend to be younger. They have a lot of stars that are forming and still forming galaxies. Elliptical galaxies are kind of at the end of the evolutionary chart of galaxies as they progress. So this, both of these, M84 and M86, they're both located in the Virgo constellation, among the Virgo cluster of galaxies. M84 is 66 million light years away, and M86 is 57 million light years away. M84 has an apparent diameter of 100,000 light years, and then M86 is actually 140,000 light years. So it's actually slightly larger. I'm sorry, M84 is 100 to 140,000, and then M86 is actually about 190,000 light years in diameter. So a fair chunk larger. And then they're relatively close to each other. Actually, quite a bit close to each other. Andromeda Galaxy is not necessarily our closest galaxy, but it is our closest large neighbor, and it's about 2.5 million light years away. These two galaxies are actually only about 300,000 light years away. So we're getting a little bit of resolution here. Try to see if I can move us around. I'm going to see, as you can see, I may have to go back and refocus here. It seems like somehow I've lost focus, but you can see here, this is our galaxy here, and then we have a galaxy here, another one there, looks like another one there, and then a whole nother one there. So we've got roughly 5 galaxies in view right now, which is pretty amazing when you think about that. Just because it's it's just such a crazy thing, really. So let's see. I'm actually going to see, now that I've got that reference to those different galaxies, I want to look and see if I can kind of get an idea of which one it is we're looking at here now. Okay, so we are actually on M86. Alright, so this is M86, and we're actually going to, I think, I'm going to switch to the quick view mode here, and I think we're actually going to try to shift our view down and see if we can get M84 in view. Got another car coming by, so sorry about the washout that you're going to get here. There's a lot of finagling that has to go on with some of these with my histogram here at the bottom. This is what allows me to kind of set my midtones and highlights and things to get where we want to be on some of our views. So let's see here. Oh, wrong direction. Always the wrong direction. Okay, so we're going to bump it back up. There we go. Hold on, is that? Did I get them both in view again? Yep, there we go. Awesome. Okay, so move up a little bit more. We may lose one of the ones that we had before, but we're going to bring in possibly a couple more. Sorry about that. Go figure. Okay, whoop. A little above, a little too far. Let's see here. Alright. Sorry about that. Yes, it takes a second here sometimes to get it to settle out and get where you want it to go. There we go. Okay, so we're going to set it to a view mode here. Let it run for about 45 seconds here. We'll snag all of these here in one get-go. And if for some, crazy reason you decide you want to say something to me on here, be mean, call me names, whatever the case may be, feel free. I can actually see this show chat, so, whatever. It's all good. Whoa, watch out. Scoot that down there. There we go. Alright. Get our black level set here. Scoot our midtones back up a little. Bring the highlights down just a smidge. Alright, there we go. Alright, so that's a pretty awesome image, quite frankly, other than the fact that for some reason, like I said, it seems as if we have lost focus. I think I'm going to have to shift back and do a little refocus or something here, because I'm not sure how, but I feel like I have lost focus. So this, as I said earlier, is M84. We got another car coming. Everybody seems to need to drive with their brights on. I don't know why. You'd think you'd be able to see driving down the road in the neighborhood, but apparently not. This is M84 here. This is going to be, this is going to be M86 here, M84 here. Then we have a small galaxy here. We have this galaxy here, and then another galaxy over here, and then trying to see if I can see any of these other little small ones that might be lingering around, but I don't see them. Yeah, so to kind of restabilize itself here. Okay, there we go. So yep. So this image, or this galaxy here, got another car coming, is actually going to be NGC 4388. Wasn't planning on giving information about that one, so let's take a quick peek though and see what kind of information we get about it. 4388 is a spiral galaxy, so it's basically what we're seeing. We're kind of seeing it edge on. Alright, so of course it looks like a sliver. Vice a nice spiral, and it's because we're looking at it kind of edge on, and that's probably, I suspect, the same situation we have with this galaxy over here. It's probably an edge on spiral. This guy, who knows, he's tiny. He is really tiny. Let's see what his deal is. That is NGC 4387, and he is actually an elliptical galaxy as well. He's just a very small old one, and he's about 58 million light years away. So, alright, so I am going to turn off the microphone here for a quick second and try to get myself, go check my focus here on Sirius real quick, and then we'll come back around. Is you interested? It's not a galaxy, but you know, it's still always a nighttime pleaser. So that is Orion Nebula in all its glory. It doesn't take long to expose a good shot of Orion, so set it down to 15 seconds here and restart our exposure here. Let you take a quick shot at Orion. Yeah, my scope for some reason seems like the alignment has gotten a little bit funky for some reason, so some of our viewing might be a little bit off, but we're going to do our best. Seem to find those last two galaxies relatively quickly, even though it was off, so hopefully it'll be the same with this. So there we go. I'm sorry, I've seen this at least a dozen times, and it never gets old looking at Orion Nebula. I mean, just the vastness, just the amazing awesomeness of this nebula, the cloud structure, and just it's amazing. It's one of my favorites. So, anyways, with that, we're going to move on to NGC 2403, and I'll be back with you here in just a second. Alright, well, I think that's going to be our target, but unfortunately my across the street neighbor just got home, and it'll be a couple of minutes here as he parks and makes his way out, so we may see some light intrusion, as you can see already, just that kind of brightening of the screen there, but we're going to see what we can do here. We'll still go ahead and try to see if we can get centered and focused here. Alright, so we are on target here. Whoa. There we go, look at that. This is going to be a good one there. Yet another car, so something is just not right about the focus on this stuff here. Let me, I hate to do this, I'm not a big fan of doing it, but I'm going to try to manually adjust a little bit of focus here without my focus mask and see if we can just get a little bit of clearance in this, because the image really should be a little bit clearer. And it's a little bit frustrating that, that our stars and stuff look as bloated as they do. They really shouldn't. Yeah, my focus, focus mask for some reason was really messing with our stuff here. Wow, okay. There we go. Alright. Hopefully our view will be a lot clearer. I don't know what's going on with my focus mask there, because according to the focus mask, which when I pointed at Sirius, that kind of weird, kind of spiked diffraction you saw coming off that bright star, that should have told me I was in focus, but for some reason I was not in focus. So anyways, maybe our galaxy shot will come out a little bit nicer here. So we're going to set this up to, I think, about 25 seconds. So this is a pretty bright one. And while it's accumulating here, we'll just go through a little bit of information about it. So this is, as I said, this one is NGC 2403. Alright, get a little adjustment here so we can see what's happening. There we go. You know what, let's bump it up. Let's go for broke. We're going to go 40 seconds here and really accumulate some light, and then we'll refine down. So this is NGC 2403. It is a spiral galaxy. It's in the constellation Camelopardalis, which is more or less northeast. It is approximately 10 million light years away. It is among the brightest of the galaxies in the northern hemisphere that are visible from the northern hemisphere. The diameter is approximately 60,000 light years across, so it's not a huge galaxy. It's just not as far away as some of those other ones were. And you figure the M84, M86 were anywhere from, say, 100 to 190,000 between the two of them, but they were 50-something million light years away. So this 10 million light years away, it's only 60,000 light years across, so still for us is fairly bright and reasonably visible. I'll adjust that lighting here in a second. It is moving away from us actually relatively slowly. It's only, according to the math anyways, it looks like it's only doing about 81 miles per second away from us, so it's moving away at a relatively slow speed from us. And by comparisons, essentially very much like M33 in the Triangulum galaxy. And it is estimated to contain somewhere around 1 billion stars. So, whoa, there we go. Nice. Okay, so we're going to get our light mid-tone adjusted. So adjust our dark here. Bring up our mid-tones a little. There we go. Nice. That is nice. So right there, I think that's probably going to be the jewel of our night right there. And I could set this accumulation time, I mean, I think I can set up to like 2 hours or something crazy if you really want to accumulate a lot of time on some small dim object. We're not going to do that. This has got, you know, stacking and all the auto stacking and all that kind of stuff on it, so it'll clarify our image here after a couple of rounds. But I mean, that is just beautiful. You can even see right here. You've got your nucleus. Sorry, it's getting cold out here. You got your nucleus here, and then you can see. I mean, you can see the shape of these spiral arms coming off of this. It doesn't take a lot to imagine it. I can zoom this in a little bit so we can get a little extra detail. But I mean, you can really see some of that detail coming out, and that's pretty amazing. Absolutely beautiful. Alright, so I am going to move on to our next target here. We've only got 2 more targets left. I don't want to hold y'all up any longer. I know it's been a long session, but of course you can always zoom through as you want. Our next target's going to be NGC 2683. It's another spiral galaxy, but it's one seen edge on, so we're going to see if we can catch a look at it. So I'll be back with you in just a second. Alright, well, we are somewhere in the neighborhood of our next target. It may take me a couple of minutes here to locate it, so feel free to check out or check back in, but I may have to do a little bit of searching on this one. Doesn't look like it put us right on top of it. Alrighty, looks like we are on target, more or less on target. I thought I saw the faint glow of the edge of it towards the bottom, but I wasn't totally sure. So, but it looks like we are right on point here. So that's awesome. We are going to switch over here. We'll get to our video mode here. Well, never mind. We're going to stay on preview because here comes a gigantic freaking truck with all of its stupid lights blaring. So, you know, it's always fun. Let's see here. Alright, let's see. Now we'll go to video mode. Yeah, we'll let it run for 40 seconds. Why not? Let's see what's happening. Tell you, I'm sitting here trying to reference this star map just to get a rough idea of where it is I'm looking at here. Make sure. I always like to compare just to make sure I'm not making a fool out of myself. But that is most definitely it. So we are good to go. Alright, so a little bit of information anyways while we're accumulating here. I like to give the information. Alright, so this, as I said, is NGC 2683, and it's actually sometimes known as the UFO Galaxy, and hopefully, perhaps, we'll see why as we adjust our image here. Car go by, so I think my histogram's going to be a little off. Alright, so I think you can actually probably see. I think you can see here, and hopefully as we accumulate a little more time, it'll give you an idea why it's a UFO galaxy. So you can just see the faint outline of the disk here. I think that'll probably clear up a little bit here in a second, or I can brighten it up a little bit if need be. Yeah, let's see. Let's try brightening it up just a smidge. There we go. We're going to brighten up those midtones. Yeah. Alright, so you can see this faint kind of outlying edge of the disk, right? Again, like I said, this is a spiral galaxy viewed edge on almost. So, you know, it's not facing us like that, like our last one, our NGC 2403, which is a beautiful face-on spiral. This is, you know, looking at the edge. But you can see that it's kind of narrow, right? Out at these edges, and then it bulges up in the middle, which is typical. That's what you see with galaxies. They have a central bulge area where the nucleus of the galaxy is, and then they start to kind of smooth out into a thinner layer on the edges, and that's why they call it the UFO galaxy, because you've got those because you have those kind of you have those kind of that kind of bulge, you know, and then the skinny edges. So it's pretty cool to see. Alright, so let's see here. It's in the constellation Lynx, and we just had another car coming by with their ridiculously bright LED headlights on. I have no problem car shaming people. It drives me crazy. I can't help it. So the galaxy right now, it's at a distance of about 16 million light years away. Not terribly far, all things considered. You know, I mean, you're not going to walk there, but you know, not terrible. It has a diameter of roughly 84,000 light years, estimated anyways. And it's moving away from us at about 233 miles per second. So boring waiting. I'm going to bump it up to about 60 seconds and try to get a good 60-second exposure after it finishes the one it's on currently, and see if we get just if we tease a little more detail out of it that way. it. I think it maybe teased out a little extra detail, but nothing profound. But you know, still pretty awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and let it finish out this next exposure, and then I'm gonna save a copy for myself, because I do like to save these and try to fix them up, squeeze out whatever detail I can. Preview mode here, and I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get us on our next target. Alrighty, as before, we're kind of in the neighborhood, but it may take me a second here just to make sure we're on target, so just bear with me, and if you don't want to, sign off, and you can check back later. Okay, so we are on something. I'm not going to lie to you about this one. This one's proven to be a little bit finicky here about if I'm on target or not. So we are going to kind of set our view here and see what happens here. This smudge here, this is a galaxy of some kind. So we're going to set live view. We're not going to set it for 60 seconds. We're going to set it down to about 35 just to get us to start off and see kind of where we're at with it. Thing is, there's a couple of smaller galaxies that are nearby to it that very well may be throwing me off because I'm not seeing anything on this screen against the star chart that's really helping me feel like I'm on target here. Let's see here. Get our stuff adjusted down here a little bit. See if we get any more detail out of this thing that tells us what that might be. Whoa, what is going on there? Alright, so that is a galaxy. Again, I'm not going to lie, I'm not entirely sure that's the galaxy we're supposed to be seeing, so I'm going to try to orient it here a little bit, see if I can spot anything that looks right star-wise. But I am just not entirely sure that that is where we should be right now. Well, so what I'm seeing is actually, this is actually looks like another very small, very faint galaxy here, which almost lines up with what I would expect to see with what we've got here, but it just, something just doesn't seem to add up here. Yep, okay, yeah, we are on point, I do believe. Finally found what I was looking for as far as the stars that I could find that it was giving me. Man, they just did not give me many stars to work with to line myself up here. I'm still just, I'm not gonna lie, I'm really still not totally sure. No, that's not it. Because what I feel like we should be seeing should be fairly large. So we're going to move around a little bit more here and see if we center something else, because this is a relatively small, that would be a very small galaxy. I mean, we are only at 35 seconds, bump it up to 45. We'll stop and reset and see if it teases out any greater detail. Because I really want to make sure we find this. We've found all the other ones, and they've all been fairly easy to find, but it would figure that the last one we want to look at is the hardest to find. So, if nothing else, I'll give you some information about it. So, the one we were looking for, NGC 2903, it's seen at an oblique angle. It is a barred spiral galaxy. So, basically, it's a spiral galaxy, but it appears to have kind of a bar across the center of the galaxy. Created by those dust and gas lanes, and it's one of the brighter ones in the northern hemisphere, which is what leads me to believe that this is a little sideshow galaxy. So we are going to, man, didn't I say that for one of the other ones, one of the brighter ones? I think I did, but actually this is one of the brighter ones in the northern hemisphere, so we are definitely not on it. If that's all we're seeing, this is one of the little side ones. It is located in the constellation Leo, and that is definitely not it. That's like a little side galaxy. So we're going to go ahead and set the preview mode here again and try to get ourselves on this target. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and turn the microphone off just for the sake of you not hearing me in case I decide to go on a tirade or something. Hey, you know what? This is viewing right here. This is what happens. You're like, oh, I think I'm on it. Especially if for some reason your telescope just doesn't land you right on point, which is the case a lot of times. You're like, oh, let me see. I think that might be it. And you're sitting looking, and no, it's not it. There's no way that's it. and then bam, you find the one that you're looking for. Luckily, I mean, it's been fairly consistent tonight with what little bit it's been off. It's been off kind of in one direction to the other. So, without further ado, let us take a look at NGC 2903. We're going to bump it down to 30 seconds. It is considered one of the brighter ones. Hopefully, you know, it'll be able to do that pretty quickly. So, let's continue here with some of our information that we had on it while it's doing. So as I said, it's located in the constellation Leo. It's approximately 30 million light years away, but it's 105,000 light years across, so fairly large. I've got a vehicle driving by, so I'm betting this first image is going to be pretty off. Everybody loves to come home right now for some reason. That is really gonna mess with my stuff, but that's okay, because it is across the street neighbors. Alright, so let's see here. That's okay. Everybody's got to come home sometime. Alright, so, wow, there we go. Definitely far different from the other one we were looking at. So the other one we were actually looking at, well, we'll finish with our info here. So, as far as it goes, this galaxy, as I said, is 105,000 light years away, and it's receding or moving away from us at 345.4 miles per second. So it's moving a little bit fast. It was actually missed. Oddly enough, it is not a Messier object because Charles Messier actually missed observing this one, even though it's one of the brighter ones in the sky. So too bad for him, I guess, right? It was discovered later, I think, by Herschel, William Herschel. Not that that means much to any of y'all, but that's okay. But anyway, so we're going to let that accumulate a little bit more. Actually, we may bump it up to a 45-second exposure here, and I'm going to warm my hands up while we sit here and watch. I think this one's actually really good. You can see you can actually really see some pronounced dust lanes on this, which is just magnificent, really. I mean, you got a really nice clear nucleus here, and then those beautiful spiral arms, and you can see the dark separations between the spiral arms. It's really, really nice galaxy to image. So, you know, while we're waiting, I was gonna make it a kind of a format thing here for my little live feeds to do some kind of a joke, little space related joke. So, you know, we're gonna do this one. It's terrible, it's cheesy, but that's okay. I'm allowed dad jokes. So, what did the U.S. give Russia for landing on the moon after them? A constellation prize. It's pretty terrible, but you know what? It's okay. It's not as bad as some of the other ones that were out there. So, all right, let's see here. Adjust this down here. Oh yeah, that's really nice. Get that super bright mid-tone stuff taken care of there. There we go. A little bit of that stacking process there, and it's cleared it up a little bit more for us. And as you can see, beautiful galaxy. It really is just really nice to look at. And I suspect it actually may be quite a bit larger than that if I really brighten some of this up. It's not something you want to take a picture of or look at per se, but it may give us a little bit of an idea of some of the further extremities. You can almost see that it actually looks like there's some fainter spiral arms, you know, further out. So I suspect the full image of this thing is actually quite a bit larger, which judging by what it looks like on the chart here, know, we're getting the majority of it. This is about the outer periphery right here. This actually is kind of a trailing arm that comes off this way, and it does appear to be that there's another kind of a trailing arm of dust here. So, but for the most part, we've actually imaged the majority of the body of the galaxy, so that's really nice. If we zoom it back out, so it's not so zoomed in, it actually looks a little bit nicer. But we're going to cut these midtones and highlights down just a smidge. Actually, we're going to cut these highlights way down, and I think we're going to bump these midtones way up. That to me is a lot more appealing on the eye, especially if we're darken down a little bit. Really hit up those midtones. That looks really, really nice. So there you go. That is NGC 2903. And I am not going to hold you up any longer because this has been a fairly long broadcast, and I apologize for that. It's already 11:10, so that tells me that this has been over an hour, which I didn't intend on it taking that long, but it is what it is. So I hope you stuck with me for at least a bit of this. If you're catching it later, speed through to the images. If I can get in there and figure out how I place markers at the different points, I'll place markers that show you where each of the more refined images are in the video. And just check in every once in a while. If you see me on Facebook announce something, I'm going to try to do